Okay, so this is the, if you remember, this was the course details. This part we have already covered. This part we are going to cover today and tomorrow. And lastly, this SQL part will be there. Okay, so in this, so this was the second part, software testing theoretical part. In this, we have covered some of the topics already during project coverage, like SDLC, STLC. This we have covered: test strategy, test plan, test scenario, test case template, defect and template. Everything we have covered. Requirement traceability matrix also we have covered. So those that we have covered, I have marked it as green. Those are in black. With this one, we are going to cover. Okay, so software testing, quality assurance, verification, validation, levels of testing, test design techniques, defect lifecycle, and there are different types of testing. So this part we are going to cover today and tomorrow. And one study material I will provide after tomorrow's class. There you will find 50 interview questions that you can expect in interview. So those will be related to same, which I'm the explanation will be available here. Some of the things I have already explained and some of the thing I'm going to explain today and tomorrow. So based on that, I'm going to provide a list of 50 questions that mostly or generally you can expect if you appear in the interview. So this is the part of the second section of this course. So let's start with today's first topic, that is software testing. What is software testing? So now you know like what is software testing. We have already covered two projects. We have already done the testing of two projects. So software testing, now you can see, now you can explain. Software testing is a method to check whether the actual software product matches with the expected requirements and to ensure that the software product is defect free. This is what we have done in a 1 month. In the previous month, 1 month, this is what we have done in the two project. We have requirements from the client. Based on that, a software is getting developed. We are verifying whether the software developed is based on the requirement or not. It should be based on the requirement and there should not be any defect. So this is known as software testing. Okay. So classes will be theoretical because only theoretical parts are remaining. So if you have any doubt in understanding of any theoretical part, let me know. One by one, I will keep on explaining all the topics. Okay. So this is the definition of software testing. I think it is pretty much clear to everyone. Next is quality assurance. QA. Tester as known as QA. There is a technical term in IT industry, QA, that is known as quality assurance. So what is quality assurance in software testing? So it is basically a procedure, you can say, to ensure that the quality of the software products or services provided to the customers by the organization. This is known as quality assurance. What is the meaning of software products and software services? There is two different things. Anyone, I know some of you are from IT backgrounds, so can you tell me the difference between software product and software services? Any knowledge, any idea about this?
Sure, I'll try. Product
Yes.
will be something which, example, might be used by someone, like might be used by many people.
Mm-hmm.
And other one was software quality. Sorry.
Software services.
Services will be for specifically for one person.
No.
Like product to product, product companies are there and service based companies are there.
Right. Right.
So Google will be product based company and service based companies will be Infosys and all will be service based like that.
Yes. So what they basically do, what product based company will do, and what service based company are doing.
Product based have their own products. For example, Google has its own products like Google Chrome, Gmail, all this is their maps, Google Maps. So this all is used by everyone. Like Zomato is using, Ola is using. So that is their product. And service-based companies are one. They help for example, like any for any bank, if there is any application which is developed, that will be a service for that bank.
Mhm. No, you are somewhere you are right, but not totally. Let me explain this one. Software product and software services. There are two types of IT companies. One is product based, one is services service based. So what product based company basically do? Uh, they develop their own product. That is correct. Service based company also develop their own product. They also create their own product. But the major difference is, let's suppose uh, there is a client, there is a customer who is new to the market, and he and that customer wants to develop its application, that which is not still developed, which is everything documented. So they want to develop a software product. So they will approach to any software product based company for the development of their software product. Once the development is done, because product based company, if you see people like you and me, everyone, they prefer product based company, not service based company, because product based company you will get good exposure and you will get more salary also compared to the service based company. The reason is product based company charge very higher, because they basically develop a new product. So they are basically the development, they basically do the development activity. Okay, but after development, still the software requires maintenance. Once the product is developed, it is not like now you will not face any difficulty in future. The product needs maintenance. So that is the service. Let's suppose Oracle is a company that is a product based. ICICI Bank has given the contract to the Oracle to develop its application, the banking application. Oracle has done the part. But now when ICICI Bank has approached the Oracle only, can you please maintain our application also? So they said, yes, we can do that, but they are charging very high. But there are some service-based company that charge very less for the maintenance purpose. So this is the basic difference. Like TCS, Infosys, Accenture, CTS, they are service-based company. They basically maintain, they do the maintenance of the products which are already developed. So this is the basic difference. Let's suppose they want 100,000 rupees. For example, product based company wants 1,000 rupees for the maintenance, but TCS or Infosys comes into the picture and they are saying I can do this in 250 rupees. So that is why they we will get the contract from the ICICI Bank and not the Oracle. Why TCS is one of the leading company, IT company in the market, because TCS charge very less, very less. Infosys will ask 500, but TCS will only ask, I can do it in 20 to 250 rupees. So that is why TCS is has so many command in the market, not only India, but outside, mostly outside India. So this is what happens in service-based company. Okay, but this testing activity happens in both the company, product-based and service-based. So the basic general meaning of quality assurance is to ensure the quality of the software product, or services. Software product and software services. Services means maintenance, product means development to the customers by any organization. Quality assurance focuses on improving the software development process and making it efficient and effective as per the quality standard defined for the software products. What is the quality standards? These are requirement that is given by the client. We as a quality assurance tester, our job is to ensure the product is getting developed as per the requirement. It should not be differ from the requirement. This is our job. And if we say it is not, means we have the authority. Unless we pass, it cannot go to the next stage. But yes, we have authority, but we have to prove it. This is not developed as per the requirement. Quality assurance is popularly known as QA testing. Okay, so this is the meaning of quality assurance. It is basically to define the quality of a software product or services that is provided by any customer or any organization. Basically, we ensure the quality of the product that is getting developed or that is under maintenance. Okay. Now, the third part is verification and validation. What is the difference between there is a verification term and there is a validation term in software testing? What is the difference between this? So we will understand that with there are so many points I have noted down one by one. We will see based on that. So the first point is process. When it comes to process, what happens in verification? It compares the software with the requirement and the specification. It try to find the inconsistency and fix them. Inconsistency means uh, again it should match the requirement. If it is not there, then that is a defect and that we have to fix it. Okay. What happens in validation? Make sure that the product satisfies the customer needs at any stage. Now you will see like both the things are same, but there is a difference. Both verification and validation, this is the same thing, but there is a different stage where we do this kind of testing, where we do verification and where we do validation. Basically, verification we do during the product development, like when the product is in development in progress status, then we do verification. And when we do validation, when the product is totally developed, when the product is developed, then we do validation. So we are actually doing the same thing, but there is a difference. One we are doing during the development and one we are doing after the development. So verification is during the development and validation is after the development. What is the purpose? Purpose is, are we building the product right? Now try to understand this sentence. Are we building the product right? Are we building the right product? Both will sound similar, but there is a difference. Are we building the product right? That means when we are building the product, are we building it correctly as per the requirement? And what is validation? After the building part is done, like after the development is done, then we will check whether it is developed correctly or not. So when we do verification, when it is in progress status, when it is not developed, it is developers are basically developing it. And when we do validation, once everything is developed, then we start doing the develop validation part to check whether the right product has been developed. Okay, so this is the purpose why we do verification and why we do validation. Verification is also important because you can do validation after the development. But let's see, after the development, you have found 60% product is not developed as per the requirement. So that time will be wasted. So that is why verification is required during the development, so that we can, at that point only, we can point out and say like this is not getting developed as per the requirement, so that immediately it can be resolved and we can save some time also. So both the process is important, verification and validation. What is development activities? Code review, style checks, static analysis, walkthroughs, inspections. So these are the activities that we generally do in verifications. Basically, it is not related to any coding part. There are some documentation like SRS documentation. There are different types of documentation. Based on that, we do walkthroughs, we do inspections about the, we do code reviews also. There is a code review, which is a development activity, not the testing activity. When development develop, let's suppose a particular model, when developer has developed a particular model, so definitely he has written some code. So he will pass the code to his peer, like in his colleague or his lead, to check the code is developed as per the coding standard or not, or as per the requirement or not. So this is what happens in code review. They also, developer also do a testing, unit testing, that is known as unit testing at their site. Once they develop, once they do the coding, then they also do a code review just to check whether they have developed the code as per the requirement or not. Also, there are some service document where we do walkthroughs, where we do inspections. There will be a document where we will tick mark everything, all the requirement. This has developed, this is developed, this is developed. This is called verification stage. If we satisfy during verification, if we get satisfied, yes, this is developed. This particular development is meeting this requirement. We will check out all those requirement and finally we will review like this has been developed as per the requirement, or this is getting developed as per the requirement. So that is basically where verification is basically a documentation part, documentation review part. What happens in validation? In validation, we generally do different levels of testing. In development activities, we do prototyping, user interviews, code analysis. All, you can say, SRS document requirement analysis. You can say there is a phase requirement analysis. So that comes under the validation part. For the development, this is the development activities, not the testing activity. So development also do verification in this way. Validation, the software developer also do validation. They basically analyze the document, different sections. After the development, they go through the requirement and they verify. They also do a small level of testing from their side just to ensure it is matching as per the requirement or not. So this activity will be done during the development and this activity will be done after the development by the developer. And in testing activity, what we do in verification, we do unit testing, integration testing, functional testing, non-functional testing. This is verification. That means functional testing that we have, as of now, we have done, that comes under verification. We do verification activity, right? In every sprint, software is getting developed and we are doing testing. So currently, the software is under development stage. So that is why all this type of testing comes under the verification. And what comes under validation? That means once the product is developed, that comes under usability testing, beta testing, customer acceptance testing, UAT testing. If you remember, I have said like once the regression testing is passed, so it is moved to the UAT status. That means it is handed over to the customer. So that is the validation part that comes after the development. Once functional testing, regression testing is completed, then validation part comes. Usability testing, beta testing, customer acceptance testing. All this type of testing we do under validation. What are the targets? Different software components, architecture, infrastructure, and database. So in verification, during the what is the target in verification? Different software components. Software components means there are different sections of the software. Those are developed as per the requirement or not. The entire architecture of the software is created as per the requirement or not. Infrastructure, database, they also created separate database for a particular application. So all these are the development activities. During the development, verification, these are the verification part. And in validation, what we generally verify? The actual product. Like what customer wants. Customer just want to know the product that he or that customer, or like that client has thought of to create. So they basically want to check whether the product is developed what they wanted, the way they wanted or not. So this comes under the validation part. In waterfall development, means in waterfall development, when we do verification throughout the development, and in when we do validation after the development. So this part I have already said. In agile, when we follow the agile methodology, so again throughout the development, like during the development process, we do verification, and when we do validation before, throughout, and after the development, like everywhere in agile development, we do the validation activity before the development start, throughout the development, and after the development. So at three different stages, we do the validation activity in agile methodology. But verification we only do during the development of the product. Who are involved during verifications? Engineers, testers, QA, they are involved. And who are involved in validation? Product owners, UX, testers, QA. Product owners, you know what is UX? UX are the person who create the architecture of the SRS document. If you have remember, I have shown you like SRS document where you can see the application module details in the form of image. We have written our test case by following the image, not following the application. So who create those images? Because immediately you will not be able to see the application that is not developed. So how you will understand how application will look like? So basically UX, the architecture, there is an architecture team. They create architecture in the form of image or document of that particular application. So they are the UX guys or architect team, you can say. Okay. So these are the parties who are involved in verification and validation stage. If an interview, if they ask you, so tell them about these 3 points and tell them about process and purpose. There are so many different terms. Every term you cannot explain. I know you have understood what I'm saying you, but there might be some term which you find difficult to make them understand. So ignore that part. Don't mention about that part. Only mention those points in which you are comfortable. There are so many points. Every point you cannot explain. Out of 10, you can just tell them 5 or 6 points. On the points on which you are comfortable in explaining. Don't explain every term. Right. So this is the verification and validation. Now next is different levels of software testing. Before that, if you have any doubt, you can ask. No doubt. Then let's move on to the levels of testing. There are different levels of testing. First, it starts with unit testing. When the development of a software starts, so first level of testing is the unit testing, and this is done by the developers. When developer do the unit testing, when let's suppose sprint one, sign up and login page development is started. Once developer complete the sign in and sign up page development, then developer will do a unit testing from their side just to check whether what they have developed is as per the requirement or not. This is known as verification. This comes under verification part. Once they confirm, then they deploy the code to the testing environment. So this is the first level of testing that is done by the developer. Developer only do happy testing. Happy testing means they will only check what is written in the SRS document. That is only positive testing. They will not think about the negative scenario. Developer basically build the code and tester break the code. Tester tries to break and try to find the defect. Okay, so this is the unit testing. Most of the time, developers even do not do unit testing. They simply deploy the code. They thought like they cannot, what they have developed, there cannot be any defect. Overconfidence, you can say. But then when tester starts, when if a tester has a very good experience and if he start testing, then he can found so many defects. That is why there is always a clash between developer and tester. For tester, defect is achievement, and for developer, defect is a nightmare. Next level is integration testing, which is done by the testers. What is integration testing? It is basically a component level testing. What is component? Sections. Sign up, sign in. After sign up and sign in, if we take e-commerce application example, then there is a sign up page, there is a sign in page. After that, there is a product search page, add to cart, wish list, proceed to checkout. Different sections of an application, right? So each section is a component of an application. Integration testing means let's suppose I have taken some of the sections example right now. I have taken the name. In integration testing, what we generally do, we try to check whether one section is integrated with the second section or not. Sorry, yeah. So what I was saying, integration testing. So we basically try to integrate, like we try to check whether all the sections are integrated to each other or not. Like when we search a product and we click on add to cart, so is it getting added to the cart or not? Like when search product and add to cart both are integrated to each other or not. If we click on add to cart button, so from there are we able to proceed to check or not? If I have added any product in a wish list section, so from that are we able to add the product into the cart section or not? So wish list is a different section, add to cart is a different section. But once we perform any action from the wish list, so is it getting added to the cart? Like wish list and add to cart, both sections are integrated to each other or not? So this is known as integration testing, component level testing. Both all comes under integration testing. Also comes under functional testing. As of now, you do not know like what this is known as integration testing, but now you understood. From wish list, if you try to add something, and then you will verify if it is getting added to the cart. Basically, you are doing integration testing under functional testing. If you This is known as component level testing, just to check one component is integrated with the other component or not. This is known as integration testing. Then comes system testing. System testing means once all the components are developed for that application, then we do a whole level of testing, like entire system end-to-end testing from sign up to the last section of the application. We start testing from sign up page, that means create an account, then sign in, then add to product, add to the wish list, add to the cart section, proceed to checkout, and there can be several different sections. So from start to end, we do an end-to-end level of testing. This is known as system testing. That also comes under functional testing, which is again done by the testers. And the last is acceptance testing. Once system testing is done, then we pass it to the client. Now client also do a testing at their site, just to check what we have developed is as per the requirement or not. That comes under acceptance testing. Once at the end users, this is basically done by the end users, that means by the client. If they found like everything is done, then they will accept the product, otherwise they will reject the product. So this is the last testing that comes under levels of testing. So basically there are four levels of testing, and in this four level of testing there are different types of testing: functional, performance, regression, usability, different levels of testing. We have learned about functional, regression. This too we have learned about in our course. This is required for the manual testing. This two testing we can do manually. Rest of the testing we cannot do manually. Okay. Now unit testing, it is done to check whether which all tests are done by the testing company. Any kind of. They also do automation testing, manual testing, performance testing, usability testing. It depends on the client's requirement. In some of the company, you will not see they are doing usability testing or performance testing, but some of the company are doing that. Basically, MNC companies, like in my company, they are doing all levels of testing. There is a separate testing team for performance. There is a separate testing team for usability, for manual and for automation. So those who are doing performance, they are not very much expertise in Selenium automation. So based, like you cannot do all levels of testing. You cannot be expert in every level of testing. If you are, then you are good. Like you must be developed yourself in a way like any company can hire you. But if you're saying you know every level of testing, then you have to justify that also. Then what is the full stack testing? That is the full stack tester. Like he has the knowledge of everything, from manual testing to the every level of testing he can do. He is the testing expert. He knows everything about testing. Like full stack developer, he can do everything. Back end to front end, every kind of thing he can do. Development, design, everything. Similarly, there is a full stack tester that he has the knowledge of manual, automation, performance, usability, every level of testing he has the knowledge. And so unit testing, I have told what is this. Integration testing also have told you what is this. System is end-to-end testing. This is already I have explained. Acceptance testing to obtain customer sign off so that the software can be delivered and payment received. Once this customer accept the product, then then he will do the payment. In acceptance testing, there are three levels, three types of testing: alpha, beta, and gamma. What is alpha testing? It is basically done before product release to find out issues it can have once it reaches to the users. It's a kind of user acceptance testing where a group of people will be given access to an early version of their reaction to the software will be recorded via video or questionnaire. So this is the simple definition. Let me tell you what actually happens. Once regression testing is done, then it is moved to the UAT environment. UAT environment basically managed by the client. They have hired some testers and they will do the UAT level testing, like user acceptance testing from their side, just to check. They will not test each and every functions of the application. Like in first sprint, whatever you have developed, that is moved to the regression part. Once regression is done, then it will be moved to the UAT. Then they will also do the same level of testing. They will ask from you. They can ask from you what test cases you have developed. They want that test cases, and they will follow those test cases to test the same thing, but under UAT environment. They can approach. They can approach to you also. So this is known as alpha testing, where it is where this level of testing is done by the client. Okay. Now it comes to beta testing. What is beta? You must have heard about the beta version of an application. In Play Store, if you go, if you try to search any application, that you will see there is a beta. Beta, it will be there is a word written as beta. That is the beta version of testing. It is not available to everyone. Like in this level of testing, what basically happens? Beta version of the software will be released in App Store or Google Play Store itself, and limited users who have signed up for the beta testing will get access to the app. Let's suppose a gaming app has been developed. Okay, 1 second, guys. Okay, so let's suppose a cricket app, cricket gaming app has been developed and it is past the UAT level. Now it is moved to the beta testing. In beta testing, what will happen? Application will be available in Google Play Store, but a beta word will be written over there. Now it depends on your choice. If you want to sign up, if you want to install that application and you want to use that, but that will be a beta version. In that you can found some different, like some bugs, some issue while using that application you can find some issues, some difficulties, because that is a beta version, that is not a stable version of the application. So that is why it is written, it will be available to only limited users, like 50, 100 users can sign up and they can use the application. They will use the application and based on that they will give their feedback. Like, when I have used this application, this is the defect I have found, like this is the problem I have faced. They can give in a feedback section their feedbacks. Those feedback will be noted by the customer and that will be passed to the again back to the company which has developed the who has taken the contract. Now they will fix those things, and once this is passed, once the beta version is passed, like everything that has been observed, that has been get observed as a feedback by some limited customers, like these customers are you, me, and anyone. and based on our feedback, they basically improve the product, improve the application. So this is called beta testing, which is done by our by end users like we, me, you, anyone who is downloading the application. Once beta version is passed, then the next stage is the gamma testing. After beta testing, the changes are made to the software, like the defect that we have found. That changes has been done in the software, and the software is tested for any bugs and flaws. No major changes are made in the functionality of the software during this phase. Rather, software is checked for bugs and they are corrected. We can say gamma testing is the last level of testing. Once beta testing is done, it is all the defects are fixed. Now, in the gamma testing, what will happen? Whatever the defects has been found in the beta testing, those will be just checked. Thus, just we will check whether those defects are fixed or not in the gamma testing. Who will do that? Again, the from customer side, it will be done. They will only not entire application or entire functionality they will check. They will only check the defects, the bugs that have been found in the beta testing. Are those fixed? If it is fixed, finally it will be released as a stable version to the end users. Once gamma testing is passed, then it will be, you means the client will accept the product. That is the, that is what we are discussing, acceptance testing. After gamma testing, client will accept the product as a stable version. They will complete their payment. They will, then they will decide they want to continue the contract or they want to end the contract, and then they will make it the application live as a stable version to all the users. Everyone can use it. So this is known as release. After gamma testing, there is a term, there is a next process is the release process, where the application will be released and it will be available for all the public users to use it as a stable version. So these are the levels, different levels of testing. It starts with unit testing, then integration and system testing. These two testing we do as a tester in the form of functional testing. Then it moves to the user acceptance testing, where the first testing is alpha testing, next is beta testing, and last is the gamma testing. These are the three different testing that we do under acceptance testing. Once it is passed, then client will accept the product and it will be moved, it will be available to the public as a stable version. After that also, we as a end user, we receive defects, we receive bugs. So that then that comes into the production. That is the part of the maintenance. Like Oracle has done all this activity. Now it is moved to the Infosys. Infosys has got the contract for the maintenance of the same application. So during the live, once the product is live, when any bugs or anything will be identified by the public, those will be maintained by the Infosys. Or any further level of development the client wants to do, then they can give the contact to Infosys. Apart from maintenance, they can also do the development activity if Infosys has the capability to do that. Just an example I'm taking. It can be any company, any service-based company. So these are the different levels of testing. Definitions you can found on any websites, but actually in real scenario, what happens, that I try to explain, that you cannot get or you can learn from any websites, because they are simply writing the theoretical part. They are not actually writing the real thing. So I'm trying to explain you the real thing, what happens actually in these levels of testing. Okay. So this is the different levels of testing that we have covered, and that's all for today's class. In the next, we will, okay, so one more thing is to cover. We have 10 minutes of time, we can cover test design techniques. It is left defect life cycle and different types of testing. This three is left. Half of the part I will cover of this topic today, like what is test design techniques. It will be completed very quickly. There are test design techniques. Like when we create test case, when we write test case, as of now, we have simply written the test case based on our knowledge, based on our analytical skills, positive, negative, this kind of testings we have done based on that. But there are some techniques. If we follow that techniques, then also based on that, we can write and we can execute our test cases. There are four generic techniques are available. We have to understand that because it will help us to write the test cases, to execute the test cases, and also you can expect these kind of questions in interview also. So let's quickly cover the first two part. The last two part we will cover tomorrow. Again, the test design techniques comes under test case writing and test execution phase. So if anyone asks you where these techniques useful, and during the test case writing and test case execution, this technique is useful. Mainly during test case writing, this technique is very much useful. Equivalent partitioning. In equivalent partitioning, what happens? The input of a program is divided into classes. An equivalence class consists of valid and invalid states. Okay, I'm not writing this one, I'm giving you an example. Login functionality. There is an application where you have to do the login. Okay, what you can do? You can give correct username and password. You will be able to log in. This is a positive testing. In negative testing, what you will do? You will give correct username and wrong password. Then you will give incorrect username and correct password. And then you can give incorrect username and incorrect password. So this will be your four inputs. There are four inputs for a login functionality. And for every inputs, you will try to see the output, what is happening. When both are correct, so what will happen? You will be able to log into the application. If username is correct, so you should be able to display, you should be able to see a warning message and or error message like username is not correct. Similarly, for password, you will see password is not correct. And if both are incorrect, so you will see username and password both are incorrect. So these are the outputs that application will give you for your input. This is known as equivalent partitioning. Like testing a particular section of an application with different outputs, input, and you want to see the output. This is known as positive and negative scenario. How you can do that? Based on the data, positive data, negative data. You have to identify everything. This is the job of a tester. One more example, if I give you, to find the square root of a given number, you have to find the square root of a given number. Like if I tell you 64, the square root will be 8. This is the testing that you have to do. What you can do? So you will try to identify the inputs. Okay, one second. To find the square root of a given number and how the number will be, it should be a whole number and it should be between 10 to 50 and it should be a multiple of 10. So these are the requirements that is given. And based on this requirement, you have to find the square root of a number. This is the testing that you have to do. First of all, the number will be whole number. It should not be a decimal number. And the number should belongs to 10 to 50. And it should be a multiple of 10, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The number should be like this. So how you will derive the input? Number is a whole number. This is a valid. Number is not a whole number. Like you will give a decimal number. For that, you should display, the application should give you a message like this number is invalid. Number is between 10 to 15. You should receive, this is a valid. Number is less than test, also less than 10. Like it should lie between 10 to 50. So you will try to enter 5 or less than 10. So that should not be accepted by the application. So that data is invalid. Again, you will see the number is great. You will try to give a number that is greater than 15. That is also invalid. Then you will try to give a number that is a multiple of 10, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That is a valid. And if you try to give a number that is not a multiple of 10, like 12, 35, 36, 46, this kind of number. So these are also an invalid data that should not be accepted by the application. And for that, you should receive an error message. So in this way, you have to think about the data. You have to give different data in that field to test. So what will be the first data? If we think only about the positive, then I will give 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. For these numbers, application will accept all these numbers. This is the requirement. Now in negative testing, what I will do? I will give 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like 11 to 19, 21 to 29, 31 to 39, 41 to 49. All these numbers I will give, and all these numbers should not be accepted by the application. It will only accept 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Hello. Sorry, I got a call. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So again, I will try to enter a number that is less than 10, and I will try to enter a number that is greater than 50. So these two numbers are also not accepted by the application. So this is how we do a testing. What is the requirement? This is the three lines of requirement, and based on that, we have to write the test case. So how many test cases we can write? One is less than 10, one is greater than 50, one is for 10, 20, 30, 40, and one is for not multiple of 10. So five test cases we can write for the simple left to find a square root of a given number. That consists of positive and negative testing. So this kind of techniques, equivalent partitioning testing, we use this kind of testing to identify the number of test cases for a particular requirement. There will be a set of range below that range, and after that range, that comes under negative, and within the range, you have to identify the test cases. So two examples I have given. In that way only, first of all, you have to read the requirement, and you have to understand if it is coming under equivalent partitioning or not. If something it is related to range, if the requirement is talking about range, then that comes under equivalent partitioning. So this kind of experience you will get once you write test cases. That is why I have told you start writing the test cases. Okay, this is equivalent partitioning. Next part I will cover tomorrow. It will take some time. Boundary value analysis. It is also a little bit similar to this one, but there is one difference that we have to understand. Okay, so from tomorrow we will continue from here. Boundary value analysis. So we will cover test design techniques, and the last two topics we will cover defect life cycle and different types of testing. Tomorrow we will cover this part. Tomorrow class will be from 12. Uh, I am not available in evening. That is why, but only for this week. From next week, everything will be normal. Because festive seasons is going on, and everything comes under October month only. That is why the problem is happening. Okay, so from next week, it will everything will means we will take the classes on time, 6:30 to 8:30 Saturday Sunday. So tomorrow, this part will be covered. From 12 to 1:30, we will take the classes and we will complete this one. So I would request everyone only for tomorrow, please manage the time and join the classes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. If you have any doubt, you can ask me tomorrow.